landed in Washington's trade crossfire, with the U.S. trade advisor Peter Navarro blaming New Delhi for high tariffs and Russian oil imports. Navarro has, however, claimed New Delhi's policies would hurt American workers, but admitted the road to peace runs through India. And Srinjoy, because Washington has made it clear with its recent statement that such kind of sanctions and tariffs, high tariffs were imposed in India only to counter Russia and to add more pressure on India. But will it undo when it comes to decades of painstaking efforts that has been put in by U.S. administrations when it comes to building strong ties with New Delhi only to counter China, for which they have extended the pause?
There are two things here that have to be kept in mind. And India has also said this, and America has said this in the past. First, that when India bought Russian crude oil, and this is according to America, and it ensured that the world prices of crude oil per barrel stayed down. And secondly, America believed and told India till very recently that when India bought Russian oil, refined it and sold it to America, America treated it as Indian oil. And India, Peter Navarro is right. India bought very little oil before the war. And the reason why India is buying oil now is simply this, that oil prices have gone up since the war began. Oil prices have gone up, food prices have gone up, and fertilizer prices have gone up. It's only because these three problems have caused India worry as far as foreign exchange is concerned that India has turned to Russian oil. Now that is very clear, and India is aware that America knows this. And the Americans supported India till very recently.
But why is this unequal treatment, Srinjoy? Because, the adversary like China has been spared, but not India. Does it reflect a cold combination of political and economic calculations that Trump administration seems to be doing?
You must be right, because S. Jaishankar, External Affairs Minister, was in Russia. And Jaishankar yesterday made 2 points. That currently India buys less oil from Russia than China. And yet China doesn't face 50% tariff because China is the world's largest exporter and America is the world's largest importer.
Yes.
And if there were 50% tariffs on Chinese goods,
yes,
then there would be huge inflation.
But as you mentioned, as far as Peter Navarro is concerned, he's a White House trade advisor. He continues, however, to train guns on India, accusing it of cozying up to Xi, and has said that it is acting as a laundromat for Kremlin. However, he did praise Prime Minister Modi's leadership, but warned New Delhi's Russian oil policy was actually perpetuating war and not creating peace. But when it comes to Indian goods, however, we've seen the 50% steep hike that, United States has now imposed on India and over its continued imports of Russian oil. However, the United States seem not have instigated similar punitive actions against China, which is actually the largest buyer of Russian energy. Then why is India being single-handedly targeted? Let's listen in to the advisor himself.
Okay, so following up on that question.
Yeah.